All right, guys. So, good evening. We got a pretty cool lineup tonight. So, three topics that we're going to get through today. Because it's Labor Day, this is probably going to be a little bit of a shorter show, and that's totally fine. But got three topics that I have a lot to say about. I know a lot of people have a lot to say about. One is very personal to me, and so we're going to talk about that. And it's actually I'm living it. Hold on one second. Okay, just checking some things. All right, so I'm living it right now. So it's going to be very much in real time topics. But before we get started, like I do every show, we talk about some sort of current events and the funny, and the serious, something crazy, whatever it is. But just wanted to bring up something that I read today. So I read something about lacrosse tournament. I don't know the exact name of it. However, the headline lacrosse team has dropped out to make way for the Iroquois. So one of my favorite movies. There's Broken Arrow, I think it's called. Is it Crooked Arrow? Crooked Arrow. That's one of my favorite movies. I think it's called The Creator's Game or something like that. Anyway, it's these lacrosse movies, and they're extremely inspirational, but they're all about the game of lacrosse and how it started, and it centers around the game being given to the Native Americans, and they call it the Creator's Game. They call it the medicine game because it's supposed to heal their soul, and so the movies are great. I love them. And so when I read this, I was very intrigued, and so I started reading about it. Well, apparently, they're doing a modified kind of world championship tournament as a precursor to the Olympic, or trying to get this into the Olympics, and so there's going to be something like 9 teams. They're going to play 6-man instead of the normal 10. And Ireland qualified. Okay, in this tournament they qualified. The Iroquois Nationals, that's the name of their team. They actually finished 3rd in the same tournament. They were not going to go. They were deemed by the federation who governs this lacrosse national stage, deemed them ineligible to play. Had to do with them being a sovereign nation and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, the coach of the Ireland national team did something really classy, super hard to do. It made a very hard decision. Well, they dropped out. They forfeited their spot that they qualified for. They forfeited their spot so that the Iroquois Nationals, their team, can go and play in this. Now, that decision cost them a lot. It cost them a lot of publicity, notoriety, money. It cost them a lot. So the decision wasn't an easy one. It didn't come at no cost. It came it carried a pretty huge price tag for the Ireland national team. I thought the gesture was awesome because, according to the coach of the Ireland lacrosse team, he said it just wouldn't be right if we're putting together, or we're going to be playing in this national or world tournament. It's supposed to bring awareness to lacrosse for the Olympics, and it just wouldn't be right not to have the Native American team play where the game started, and the history there, and the culture, and the spiritual aspect of it. So I thought the gesture was awesome. Something that would be very hard for a lot of people to forfeit your spot to play in a national stage just so another team can do it. So I thought that was really classy. I thought it's going to go a long way for the relationship between those two teams and those two clubs, and it's going to go a long way for lacrosse on that stage. So I thought that was awesome. I thought that was just a really cool gesture. Okay, so now into the 3 topics that we have for today. So we're going to be talking about these 3 things, okay? And I'm going to read them just like the slide shows, and then I'll explain what I meant by some of these, because some of these could offend some people. Not that I'm super concerned about offending people, but okay. So the first one: why does American soccer suck? Okay, I'll explain that. Okay, number 2: our athletes are great halftime shows. Okay. And then coaching your kid, a delicate balance. Okay, so the first one, why does American soccer suck? Okay, this is not necessarily just my opinion, and what I mean by that is we have not fared well on the global stage for quite some time. American soccer is significantly behind international soccer. Now there are debates and articles and discussions and everything under the sun going on right now about soccer internationally, globally, specifically in America. And there have been. Sorry, I'm checking this. Let me check it. That we get reconnected. So here, because it said, okay, good. We're reconnected. Good. Okay, so I'm going to try to get through this because the internet is acting up again, and I'm not trying to do that. What happened the other day? So there's much discussion going on in America around American soccer. On the global stage, American soccer is a bit of a joke. Okay, we don't fare well. The expectations that are put on us, we don't meet. So we should win on the global stage. Okay, our national team, our women's national. Let me say this: our women's national team is good. They were really good. However, I don't know if it was that they were really good or the rest of the world on the women's side is really bad. Okay, probably a combination of both because our women's team is good, but globally, women's soccer is terrible. I mean, someone said it was like watching a middle school game or some JV games. I watched the women's team, their tournament, and it was not good soccer. It really wasn't. I mean, our women's team, we have some good athletes, we have some good players, but the rest of the world was terrible. They were just bad. And so if we didn't win, if we did not win, that would have been a ridiculous joke. Okay, so the rest of the world was just terrible. And I think that probably had more to do with us winning than how good our women's team was. But on the men's side, we're like a joke on the global stage. And here's a couple of my thoughts. So, in America, well, internationally, they have these professional clubs and they start these academies, and the kids are, they go up through the academies, and then they enter the professional ranks and all this kind of stuff. And internationally, countries are actually selecting from a pool of the best players in the country. Actually, okay. Now, there's not a perfect system. There's no such thing. There's not a perfect system. There's not a perfect way. Nothing works perfectly. There are holes in things. There are things can be improved, all that kind of stuff. But in general, international are actually, and I'm emphasizing that word, you'll see why in a second, but actually choosing from the best kids in that country. Okay. America does not. American soccer is bad, and for a couple of reasons, and here's why. So, we had DA, the Developmental Academy, right? So we had DA that was supposed to be the development, the development grounds for youth soccer, and it was supposed to be the best kids. We were going to train them up and develop them, and coaching. We're going to develop that, and that's going to be where our feeding or our feeder program is to professional ranks, and it sucked. Okay, listen, here's why. Because in America, so in other countries, when it comes to soccer, talent rules, money doesn't, right? So they're picking from the best kids, and they will find a way to get these kids into their clubs, right? And I would guess probably that if someone couldn't afford it, the nationally money rules in America. Here's why I say that. Anyone could have been on DA. Anyone. I mean, I get it. If you don't know how to play soccer, then it probably suggests you don't go there. But anybody who's willing to pay, anybody who's willing to pay could have played for some club at the DA level. Okay, and that's terrible. And and you can tell me I'm wrong and that it wasn't that way. It is that way. It's the same thing with club soccer in America. If you have money and you're willing to pay, you can play on a team or you can make a team. It is not the best players in America that are going through these systems that are supposed to be feeding our national teams. It's not that way in America, because you want to know why? Money rules. So if I have money and I'm willing to pay, they're willing to take me. And yes, I need to have some. I don't need to have really some skill to play at that level. Personally, if I don't have the skill, I'm probably not going to want to play at that level because it'd be too overwhelming. But they'll take me if I have the money. If I'm willing to pay a couple grand, they'll take me. Okay, and that's terrible because we don't have the best kids in America playing in our clubs. We do not have the best kids in America. We didn't in DA. And DA collapsed. We all know that because it sucked. It was terrible, and it should have ended way earlier. But money rules. So we did not have the best players in DA. We did not and currently do not have the best players in America on our club teams. Some of the best players in America right now have been outpriced. Can't afford it. Can't afford to play. So they don't play. It's a shame because we were trying to develop and select best players in the country for our professional teams, MLS teams, USL Pro, USL 1, all these different leagues, USL 2. These leagues are now going to form these academies. I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great idea. And I think it will work. I think it's mimicking the international teams, which we've waited so long to do. We should have done this way earlier. The problem in America is, there's a lot. But one of the things is entitlement. So I don't think we're going to produce the best team. Have an opportunity. I don't believe it. I don't believe that a kid who is okay. I just don't think that those kids are going to have the same opportunity as kids with money. It's unfortunate, but I think that is why American soccer sucks. Is because we're not really concerned. And until that changes, honestly, American soccer will always suck. Okay, we have to get past money and status to actually player development, getting to player development, and we're not there yet. I don't know the reason why American soccer sucks. Okay, there are so many other things that I can go into. That is the biggest one, in my opinion. Another really big thing is we are so concerned in America. I have to play club. My club. And honestly, your kid's not even good. So why is he playing club? But yet he's on a club team. He makes a club team. Again, it's money, right? We have to do this. We have in this state championship. I mean, there's a state championship conference. I get it, but you can't have state cups. It is. It's a team that wants to pay the money to get into a tournament. You call it anything you want. You can call it a national tournament. You can call it a state cup. You can call it a fancy tournament. Whatever you want to call it, it doesn't really matter, because as long as a team pays, they can get in it. So it's not truly like, hey, you're being selected as an elite team to come and play in this invitational tournament only, because even the invitational tournaments are only invitational in name only, because if you pay, you can get in. You just got the invite to pay. All right. So we're so concerned about this status. And for some reason, we feel like if we say, yeah, we play club, that gives us something. Okay. Or, yeah, I'm going to go play this academy thing. Yeah. But I know kids right now that are better than the kids that are playing in these academies right now, that are trying out for these academies, that are playing club, they're playing for these elite teams. I know kids that are better. For one reason or another, they're not taking that route. Okay. So that right there, I have proven our system is flawed. We don't have the best kids in America going through these channels. They don't have the same opportunities. Most of it, and another show we can talk about this is the parents. The parents are a huge problem because, they think their kid should be going professional. They need to play club. They have to play at this club, and I'm going to switch from this club to this club and go here and there, and I'm going to do. and it's all about this status thing. Internationally, globally, they care about the game. So kids are just playing. They're out playing. They play in the streets. They don't need perfectly cut grass. They don't need a perfectly $300 shaped ball. Okay. They don't need new cleats and shin guards and uniforms and videos and everything. There's umpteen of those all over the internet, but they don't need that stuff. You want to know why? Because they're just out there to play. Those are the kids. That's why they wipe up the global stage with America. That's why American soccer sucks, because we're so concerned about the way we look. They are so concerned about the way they play. Okay, that's a huge difference. And until American soccer can get to the point where you don't have to do things because that's the way it's supposed to look in soccer, not until we do that are we actually going to be able to compete at that level. So we're going to continue doing the same old things. Send kids through that are good. They're not going to be the best. They're not going to be the chosen few best in the country, because money still rules, status still rules. Once we get past those things, we might actually be able to put together teams that can compete with the rest of the world, because they have seen past those two obstacles to developing players and playing. So that's why, in my opinion, why American soccer sucks. Okay. All right. Now, our athletes are great halftime shows. The reason why I say this is, and this goes right along with what we just said, the first topic. Most athletes today, and you can just go on YouTube. You can go on these we talked about social media superstars last week. You can go on their Instagrams. You can go on anything, right? And what you see them doing is all these drills, right? These fancy drills. They're doing all these things. It's great individual development, great individual training. It's awesome. Most of the focus of today's athletes, today's youth, our athletes, most of their focus is how to do the drill, how to do the skill, how to perform that skill, how. They're missing the boat. What their focus should be is on the whys, the reasons, the why tos, not just the how tos, the why tos. And here's what I mean by that. If I'm doing a drill, if I set up a drill and I run an athlete through it, I did the chairs, I can do this and blah, blah, back up and all this kind of stuff. It's great. That same kid gets in a game, can't do it. You want to know why? Because there's no why. He knows how to do the drill. I set up a drill. It's perfect. I can get a kid dribbling 2 balls through, and then making this move and stepping back, shoot a 3, blah, blah. Okay. And he does it great. And I can set that up and I can have people watch and they would think, oh man, this is amazing. And his skill is amazing. His trainer's amazing. That drill is amazing. Get him in a game and he doesn't do it because he doesn't know why. So he knows how to perform the skill, but he doesn't know why he should. So he doesn't know why he should step back. He doesn't know why he should Euro step. He doesn't know why he should cross over. He doesn't know why he should swim the guy. Okay, he doesn't know why they don't know why to do these things. They just know how to do it. They can do highlights and whys. The kids that only know how to do it but not why to do it, they're going to get smoked. Okay, they're not going to compare. And that's why we have so many kids that don't make it. Some of these kids are so great, you hear about, and then they just fizzle out. Okay, or they get to the next level and they suck. All right, because they've never mastered the whys. They only mastered the hows. And that's why our athletes are great halftime shows. Now, a lot of this is not the kids' fault. A lot of this is the coach's fault. Okay, coaches, us as coaches and trainers, it's our fault because, again, money, we get paid to do this stuff. So as long as we're getting paid, I'm good. I can look online and come up, can dribble and shoot and pass, but the kid that I'm training has no clue how to. So they're doing all these things, but they don't know why. And so they're easy to defend. They're easy to beat. Okay. And then they're confused because they don't know why it's not working out because they're doing what they were taught. But us as coaches and trainers are not helping them understand why, when, what's the good situation to do this in? What are situations that you do this in? I can train a low post guy to do all these low post moves. And, every low post guy should have 5 go-to moves, 5 moves that they can pull out that'll work in any situation. They should master those 5 moves. You can have umpteen more than that, but 5 of your go-to moves that you can master, that you can do it until you do not get it wrong. Those 5 things you should master, However, if you're only mastering it, you won't know when to use them. And so you'll do a move at the wrong time and it'll be stopped. And you're like, man, I thought I was good at this. No, you are good at it. You're just not good at when to do it. And that's our fault, coaches and trainers. We need to help our young athletes understand the IQ of the game, the whens, the situations of when to use certain things. Prepare the athletes with all the tools in their toolbox. Give them everything that they can be the best. They don't have to use any of it. If they can just dribble by somebody, just dribble by somebody. Why would you use a move? Well, we don't know. That's because how I train. Well, that's not good enough. Okay, that's not next level stuff. Next level stuff says I'm only going to use my tools when I need to, and then when I need to, I'm only going to use the right tool in that situation. Okay, that's what separates the best from just the good. Okay, and a lot of it falls on our coaches and our trainers because we're not helping these kids understand the whys. That is why our athletes are great halftime shows. As a coach, I don't want my athletes to be good halftime shows. I don't want them to impress people. I want them to play the game. I want them to know how to play the game. I can help them be the best. I can give athletes in multiple sports, I can give them all the tools they need to master the fundamentals, to master the advanced techniques. I can give them all of those things. Okay. And I can make them the best equipped athlete that they're ever going to be. If I don't tell them when to use it, why to use it, the reasons, if I don't, then they will only be a good halftime show and they will never be good. Okay. I want my athletes to be good. I want them to be able to play. I want them to be able to play at that. I don't want my athletes to have to stop and think about what they have to do. I want them to not have to think and their body just does it because they've built muscle memory. That is not only in the physical skill, but that's also in the mental skill. That's in the IQ. That's in the reasons behind. So coaches and trainers, we have to be better. Athletes, you have to explore the whys if you want to be the best. Okay, and that is why I think our athletes are the best great halftime shows. Okay, this last one. Okay, and again, I said this show is going to be a little short. It's Labor Day. Don't want everybody hung up in front of the computer when you can be with your families and things like that. But our last topic is very personal to me because I've been doing it for the last 16 years, almost 17 years. And I have 3 kids. I've been doing it with 2 of our kids. So 16 years with my son and 12, almost 13 years with my daughter. And now even with my 3-year-old, it's been on a formal and an informal level. Just and this third topic is coaching your kid a delicate balance. So I hear a common phrase that I'm told is, I can't coach my kid. That would just not go well. Okay. I don't understand that. I mean, I know where they're coming from. I'm coaching my 3-year-old his short life. Okay. And it doesn't always happen in a game or in a practice. It happens at home too. When you're out in the front yard, like today, I was just playing soccer with my 16-year-old son, my 3-year-old son, and you're still coaching. As a coach, you're coaching. You tell him doing a pullback move, and the little 3-year-old steps on the ball and pulls it back. It's kind of cool to see. So you're constantly coaching. So it's in those environments too. But why do parents say they can't coach their kid? Why would it not go well? And so I can't relate to that. I understand where they're coming from. I get it. Okay. I think it has much more to do with the parent-child relationship than it does with the coach-athlete relationship. And I'm guessing, my best guess is that they feel like that will spill out over into the field or the court or the athletic arena. And so why is coaching your kids such a delicate balance? Well, here's why. Because when you cross the line, that's the field or the court or wherever it is, and now you become coach and athlete, you're no longer parent and child. We're currently in soccer season. And I've told my son this, who's a great player. I've told him, on that soccer field, I am not his dad. I've said, Elijah, I am not your dad on that soccer field. I'm your coach. Okay, so I am not dad, and he's not son on that field. I am coach, and he's one of my athletes. Okay, And yes, when all is stripped away, do I love him more? Of course I do. He's my son. I don't treat him differently. Um, he's one of the captains on the team, deservedly so, if that's even a word, not because he's my son. Any of you that know me know that I am so far from something like that, where I would favor my son. When he was younger, this is a whole other show, but when he was younger, I would actually go the other way. I would be like, oh, he needs to sub out so that I can sub him out more than everybody else. And then I quickly decided, no, I'm not going to do that. You know what? That's not fair, because he's working as hard or harder than these kids. He deserves to be out there. I don't need to pull him just so that people don't say I'm favoring my son. And so that was a decision I made early on. Well, okay, so back to this. So why is it so delicate? So I've told my son I'm not his dad on that field, and I treat him as I would an athlete. Now, I know my son. Here we go with this internet crap. Okay, there we go. I know my son like I don't know any of the other athletes. I live with him. Okay, he's my son. We're connected way deeper than any of my other athletes. So I know things. Okay, and that plays into it, because I know what he's capable of. I know when he's not giving 100%. I know what to expect from him. I know what he expects from himself. I know we have a listen. We have a I'm his parent. Okay, I'm his parent. He's my 16-year-old kid. We butt heads, and we've had our times where it's been rocky, and then it's been really good. We've always had a relationship that was open, and so we know things about each other. And I don't have that with other athletes. Most coaches will not have that with other athletes. Okay, you connect, and you're intimate, and you're deep on a certain level. But with your kid, it's different, because you go home with them. Okay. However, I have always made it very clear that it's not parent-child when we're out there. That it's not parent-child when we're out there, that it's coach-athlete. And he will need to respect me as his coach, not as his dad. Okay, because there could either be a great deal of respect or a great lack of respect from the child to the parent. But as a coach, I'm the authority figure, and you need to respect your authority. You need to respect your coaches. Okay, I will not be these players' only coaches. At some point, they'll play somewhere else. They need to have formed habits of respect towards their authority figure, which is their coach. Okay, and that is what's been made known. So why does it become so delicate? I'll tell you why. A lot of coaches who coach their kids favor their kids, and so their kids are going to get all the playing time. Their kids are going to get all the focus. Their kids are going to be what their game plan is built around. Okay, whether he's the best player or not, whether it should happen or not, there is the favoritism is deep, and that is wrong. That's if you're coaching your kid, you absolutely cannot coach your kid. You have to coach your athletes. You coach your team, and your child just happens to be one of the members of that team. Now, my son, it's awesome when things work. There's reasons for that. We can get into that another time, but I have 3 captains. He is one of the 3. Now, because of that, his expectations are different. The expectations put on him are different than those of the rest of his teammates. Not because he's my son, but because he's a captain of the team. So I'm going to require things of him that I don't require of the other teammates. I'm going to expect things of him that I don't expect of his teammates. Just like any player on the team, if I know what they're capable of doing and they don't do it, I'm going to tell them about it. The line that gets blurred and becomes delicate. To me, at home, when you're at home, the parent-child relationship at home might be fragile and might be confrontational. Because on the field, it as coaches, moms and dads, you cannot treat them as your child. It has to be as an athlete. So here's my challenges to y'all. Okay, it is a very delicate line. It could be very destructive to your child. That is where that's coming from, not as my child. And moms and dads, you need to be able to make that distinction. that you are not a parent, they are not a child, that you are a coach, and they are one of the members of your team. And so as my 3 captains, they receive these benefits not as my children, and not all 3 are my children, just one. But so as a coach, I try very hard. I make it very I make a strong effort. I'm very purposeful in how I go about coaching my children. Okay, whether they're the best or the not, or not the best or the worst. I coach my team, and they are members of my team. Should they earn their spot as a captain, they are going to be they're going to receive different benefits than the rest of the team. Now, special treatment. Don't get it twisted. Okay, so moms and dads, you have to make that distinction. You are not mom and dad. They are not son or daughter. You are coach, and they are athlete. If you need help with how to coach your child, please contact me. All the contact information is in the chat box. www.icoach.today, info@icoach.today. You can email me. Tweet at us at iCoach_today on Twitter, or you can call or text 704-750-8326. Reach out to me. I will help you. I'll give you some tips. Athletes, this is a challenge to you. Okay, you cannot be punk kids. When you're out on the field, you're on the court, whatever it is, you cannot view your coach, if they're your mom or dad, as your mom and dad. They're your coach. You need to respect your coach, especially if you want to play at the next level. But at any level, you need to respect your coach, and you need to act accordingly. I tell my athletes, don't do anything that will embarrass yourself, your family, or your team. Okay, I repeat that to my children. Don't do anything that will embarrass yourself, your family, or your team. And athletes, you need to respect your coach as your coach, not as your mom and dad. That's where so no matter what your home life is, like, your coach should be coaching the team. You are a member of that team. You're not their son or daughter. Okay, you don't distinguish between parent, child, coach, athlete. Then you shouldn't coach your kid. But it's not because you can't. It's because you won't. Every mom and dad, you have the choice to not be selfish and to see past yourself and to say, I am not mom and dad. Now I'm coach. Okay, and require your child to be athlete and not son or daughter, and to act accordingly. Both need to act accordingly. It is a choice. Tonight we talked about some really cool things, some things that are very important to me, some things that I have a lot to say about usually, some things that are very important to our culture. So I hope that you enjoyed tonight's show. Gosh, we talked about how American soccer sucks. Technology sucks. There we go. All right, so the girls, my wife and my daughter, were on a girls' weekend. My 3-year-old called me and my 2 sons had this weekend boys' time. So my girls just got home. But so for Labor Day, and for that reason, I think around 6-ish. So this is a recorded show, but tune in live every Monday, 7 p.m. for iCoach, whatever broadcast we're doing. I always try to post definitely by Sunday what that Monday show is going to look like. I try to get it by midweek so that everybody has. I post it to Facebook and Twitter and Nextdoor, and I try to put it on LinkedIn and wherever else I can put it. But many people viewing this possible, have a voice to share our opinions, to be unpolitically correct. Is that a word? Unpolitically correct? Anyway, to be blunt, to say things that might be offensive, not on purpose, but just to speak our mind without any reservations. This is that place. I want this to be that place. Obviously, around the sports and recreation arena, athletics arena, that's what we're going to be talking about. So hope you enjoyed it. Tune in 7 p.m. next Monday. See you then.